Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another 3A figure review. Now today we're going to be taking a look at a bit of an older figure, being the 3A Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. Now when I picked up that smaller deluxe scale Bumblebee from the new Solo film, I was blown away by the details. And when I happened to stumble across an Optimus Prime for sale, and the gentleman also had a Bumblebee, I had to pick up both. I've also picked up a Starscream. I've gone absolutely 3A premium scale crazy, and I cannot wait to bring you reviews on all of these awesome bots. Now, before we begin, I want to say a huge shout out to Justin's Collector Group. We've just passed 1,300 members. It's going really, really well. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has joined thus far and everyone who is going to join. It's a really awesome place for us to come together, chat figures, share photos of our collections, and the link to the Facebook group is down in the description below. Now, that's about it for all of that. What we're going to do is get all of Bumblebee's accessories out here and take a look at everything he comes with. Now, taking a look at Bee's accessories, you can see he doesn't come with a hell of a lot of stuff, but I've said this time and time again, the things he does come with are absolutely awesome. Let's have a look at the biggest and best piece, in my opinion, that comes along with this Bee, and that's his arm cannon blaster. And it does light up. There's a red light in there. Unfortunately, the batteries have died on mine, but you can see that this is a sneak peek for how the detail looks on the figure. It is gorgeous. You can see all this sort of wear and metal paintwork showing through. Even on the carbon fiber sections, it looks like it's been chipped away and there's bare metal underneath. There's also this sort of pitting on the yellow part. It just looks like a metal piece. This is all plastic, and that really did surprise me getting it out of the box, because this does look like a real metal piece. It is just stunning, and I'll show you how to switch this out with the normal arm when we get the figure himself out here. Now, he also does come with his battle mask, which is a nice little section here. It just clips on. There are some clips on the top there, and I'll show you how to pop that onto his head sculpt when we get the figure himself out here, but you can see that the detail on this is just stunning as well. Really, really nice piece. Now, the version that I got was the online exclusive version, so it comes with the control pillar from Dark of the Moon, and it does light up. Unfortunately, once again, the batteries have died in this, but you would just rotate it and it would light up, but you can see it's a really nicely detailed piece. These pieces are very, very sharp down here, so you have to be careful when you are handling it, and it goes this way up. It's a really, really nicely done piece, painted well, as with everything on this figure. 3A really have spared no expense when it comes to the detail on these figures, and from what I've heard, the new Last Night figures are even more well painted than this guy right here. So if I do end up picking them up, which I probably will, I am already bracing myself to be absolutely blown away with the detail on those figures. Taking a look at Bumblebee himself, this guy is stunning. I mean, you can just see that that level of detail that you saw in the arm cannon just a second ago is carried on throughout the entire figure. I mean, look at all this metalwork. It looks like a rusted metal piece, which is just absolutely stunning. And you can see there's tiny little details here and there with all these little intricacies and pieces, and they all move around, like these pieces here. His little ears are in ball joints, just like the smaller one. Now, I do have a little bit of a frustration with these ear pieces coming off because they are detachable for the battle mask, and you know what? Let's show you how to attach the battle mask now. So these pieces do just slide off as that goes absolutely flying, and the battle mask just sort of slots on there, and that looks really mean. I think that is how I'm going to have him displayed in the collection, because I think that is a very, very good look for Bumblebee there. Really, really nice job by 3A on that piece there. Now, to slot these pieces on, they just slot back on, but they are very, very loose fitting, so they will fall off from time to time. Now, as for the head sculpt, it looks okay. There are some funky stuff going on with the head sculpt itself. It looks alright on camera, but in person, there's just something that doesn't mesh quite well. That's why I want to have him displayed with the battle mask on, because there's something a bit funky going on with that head sculpt. But either way, the entire piece, once you get it all assembled with those pieces on, or even if you switch the battle mask on, it's not too terribly bad. And it definitely does look like Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon, and his eyes do light up a nice blue once you have the batteries all plugged in there. Now let's spin him around and take a look at the detail on the back, because it's just as gorgeous on the back as it is the front. He does have these door pieces, and they look like the interior of the actual Camaro itself, which is really, really nice. And I will zoom the camera down so you can have a look at the rest of the detail down here, because there is a lot going on down there as well. Now, I don't go through articulation, and I definitely won't be going into full detail on this guy here, but I do want to show you that his doors even are articulated on the back. They move in and out, they move around everywhere. It is crazy how well they have done the detailing on this, and you can even see the tires on the back here, which are rubber and do move. They are actually dirty, which is really, really awesome. You wouldn't actually expect them to go to that level of detail on just something like a wheel, but they definitely they just pay a lot of attention to stuff that you wouldn't expect them to. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera down a little bit and give you a look at his arm, and more specifically how to switch it out with the cannon. Now, second stopping point on the tour of Bumblebee is this mid-chest section here, and more specifically the arm itself. The arm is really, really well detailed. This entire figure is super well articulated, and you wouldn't be remiss for thinking that this was a statue. It is not. It is completely articulated, even right down to his tiny little finger. Oh, not tiny, they're big, but his fingers, I mean, you wouldn't even expect them to go to that level of detail. I would have thought this would have been a statue, but no, it's fully articulated, even down to this arm section here, which moves. All of this stuff just gets out of the way for you to basically create any of the poses that you want. Now, his arm literally just pops off like that. It's really nice and easy. There is a button on the top here, but it's nice and loose, or I don't know if it's supposed to be loose, but mine is nice and loose, so it does pop off easy enough, and you can slot on his cannon just like so, and it snaps into place. And they don't fall off by any means, but they are really nice and easy to switch out. It wasn't at first, but it did loosen up over time, and there you have him with his cannon, which looks equally as good, in my opinion, on the body there. Now, taking a look at the detail in the sort of chest section here, it's really, really nicely done. I'll angle it up so you can see, but there's basically pistons and all sorts of details in here, and even stuff like these pistons here do move. You can see he's got his license plate on there. They have gone to town with the detailing on this Bumblebee figure. Now, I did specifically want to show you these pieces here, which are the spoiler of the vehicle when he's obviously in his Chimera mode. Note, this figure does not transform, before anyone asks in the comments, but you can see here that it does have that awesome sort of effect where it looks like the carbon fiber has peeled away, and when you touch it, it does feel like real carbon fiber. It does have that texture to it, which is just absolutely awesome. So it's very sort of textural in the way that you're feeling everything. I think Optibotimus said that in his review. It's very, very awesome that you can actually feel stuff like that. It's not just painted or printed on there. It is all sort of really, really on there. The detail is, you can touch it basically. You can touch all the details and you can feel that the level of execution on this is second to none. So what I'm going to do now is move the camera down a little bit and give you a look at the legs. So his legs and feet are equally as well done as the rest of the figure. You can see that he does have the wheels tucked behind the feet there, if you can actually see that. There are the wheels just tucked in there with the hubcaps. I don't know if those are accurate to the Chimera. I certainly hope not, because they aren't all that good to look at. But the rest of the feet definitely are. I mean, you can see he's got his little black toe there, and you can see that it is a rather nice sort of platform for him to stand on. He's not sort of wobbly. He stands very, very sturdy. I'm sort of rocking him a little bit. He's not going anywhere. This is a very, very nice platform for him to stand on, and all the sort of weight is evenly distributed throughout the figure, so you can make sure that he's not going to fall over in your display, because I know he's a big piece, he's an expensive piece, and you definitely don't want him toppling off the top of your detail. I know that would be something that I would be very fearful of, and luckily it's not too much of an issue. You can see that there's a lovely amount of detail. I keep going back and forth between the paintwork and the detail. It's all just really, really mesmerizing to look at. It's a really, really stunning piece. The articulation is there. I mean, what more could you want from a Bumblebee figure? This is a really gorgeous piece, and definitely one to add to your collection if you are a fan of Transformers, especially these Michael Bay renditions. Now, when I did the deluxe scale Bumblebee review, a lot of people asked me to do a size comparison. I didn't have the premium scale one back when I did that review, but now you can see just how small the new deluxe scale is. I think it's a really, really awesome figure. It's still absolutely hands down my favorite representation that we've ever seen on screen for Bumblebee. But that being said, I absolutely adore this big premium scale one. The level of detail, paintwork, intricacies, everything like that just blows the smaller one out of the water. The smaller one's really, really detail packed, but the bigger one just takes it to the next level. Doing a comparison next to a 1/6 scale figure, this is the racing suit Tony. This is a custom suit. However, the body underneath is just a basic Tony Stark body, and a lot of you know exactly how tall that is. And you can see that it comes up to about his lower torso area, and it's a pretty good scale. It's nowhere near in scale, obviously, from the film. It's not a 1/6 scale figure. I'd say maybe it's a 1/9 scale. It's a little bit smaller, but still, it's very, very big and imposing, and it just looks really, really awesome, no matter who you have him posed next to. The first really awesome thing about this Bumblebee, and I apologize if it's a bit of a cop-out, is the articulation. The fact that they have this figure fully posable, being able to go in these awesome action-packed poses with a bunch of moving parts is just absolutely outstanding. The second awesome thing is that there is a button on the back of the figure himself, so you can actually raise and lower the upper torso to get access to a ball joint for even greater posability. The third awesome thing, and again I apologize if it's a bit of a cop-out, is the fact that the detail on this figure is outstanding. This is without a doubt one of the most detail-packed, most well-painted figures in my entire collection. The first annoying thing with this Bumblebee figure is the fact that these pieces constantly fall off when you are trying to maneuver his head around, and it's a little bit of a hassle to put them back on. I kind of wish they'd use magnets in the head. The second annoying thing I hope is exclusive to my figure, but this joint here going outwards is completely stuck. I cannot get the ratchet joint to actually actuate or move in any way. There is something wrong with that joint there, and it's just a little bit frustrating, especially for the price of this figure. The third annoying thing is that the thumb can't actually go upwards and it can't rotate, so you can't get him doing a thumbs up and you can't have him in a natural open hand display. Just wrapping up on this 3A premium scale Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon, I have to say this is one of the most gorgeous pieces that I have in my entire collection. Now, I know this entire video I've just been gushing about the detail and the paintwork and the execution and pretty much everything about this figure I do love. There is that little issue of the stuck joint, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix, which is a little bit frustrating, but the overall piece more than makes up for it. This is a gorgeous representation of Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon, which I think was one of the stronger Transformers films, to be honest, and I really do like this design. Now, if you are going for the new deluxe sort of scale, this is not going to fit in, unfortunately, with that new scale. However, this is a beast in its own right, so if you just want to have this as your centerpiece for your Transformers collection, or even add the Optimus Prime, Starscream, Megatron, or even those Last Night figures that are coming out, it's all going to work either way. It's going to look really, really awesome, and it's going to be one hell of a Transformers collection. Now, that's about it for this video, guys. Check out the Justin's Collector Group, the brand new Facebook group that I've created with a bunch of collectors, YouTubers, and a bunch of really, really awesome people. The link is down in the description below. Come along, chat figures, and talk about everything that is going on in the figure community, and also share photos of your collection, because yeah, we love to see awesome collections. That's about it, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.